Buying and selling a house is one of the biggest financial things we'll do in our lives. But how has social media changed that process? I'm here with Matt Nicol from Nicol & Co Estate Agents. Hi Matt, thanks for letting me come down today and have a chat to you about this. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us more about Nicol & Co?
Yeah, sure. As Rich said, I'm Matt Nicol from Nicol & Co Estate Agents. Got two offices, one in Droitwich and one in Worcester. Been trading for 9 years in September, and it's a business that's grown steadily.
I think, it's going to be such a fascinating subject. It's because you've been a kind of business that's gone from zero to, where you are now, and kind of how you've used social media to do that. We'll get onto that later. But just to start with, how have you seen that social media has changed the industry since you've got involved with it?
I think it's had a significant impact on the business. For us, it's been great in getting more vendors to contact us. We have a really good reach, but we have a good local reach. It's not a kind of a national that, there's no one in our area. It's all people that actually live, work, play around this area. So we've embraced it from that point of view, thinking that really the social media can help us to get instructions, get opportunities to sell properties, and then also, as a result, hopefully sell some of the units as well, get people out to view properties with us. We've embraced all the different channels, but in different ways, because we know there's certain ones that work better for us. If it's for instructions, we know where we need to be putting them. If it's kind of public stories, we need to be putting those on Facebook. It's knowing really how to use it best. We watch others. I must admit, we do follow other estate agents, and it all feels a bit samey from their point of view.
Sure.
So we try and keep a bit of a personality to it.
It's exactly the word I was about to use then, actually, that, because it does enable you to have that kind of personality. And with a few of the other businesses that I've spoken to through doing these podcasts already, they've said as a kind of small business, you're kind of nimble and flexible enough to kind of go with this stuff.
Definitely.
You haven't got as much to kind of clear out, and you can be a bit more expressive, a bit more kind of confident in these things. And because you're a small company, you can connect with these people one-to-one. So they'll send you a message on Facebook, and you can pretty much get back to them straight away. You've got people to manage that.
I think people are amazed at that, because often I will personally reply. So if someone sends me an email at night or a message through Facebook at night, then I'll probably be the one that's got it pinged through to my phone. So I'm responding quite quick. So I think that's nice that they actually feel like it is a business that, whilst it's obviously got a lot of sale boards and a lot of sold boards around, it's still that kind of that personality. And we are there for people. Certainly, I do agree that we're kind of quite nimble. Even our tone comes across in our posts. We don't try and put stuff that doesn't sound like we were saying it. It's all from us. And that's, I think, an important part. People still question whether I actually am involved in our social media, but I am. I am as much today as I was when I first did it on my own. So it's been good. It's been useful.
I think it's interesting with that point, because it's almost that it's obviously it's your name on it. It's like it's your business. You're not just someone working for a bigger company. This is a kind of family business in that sense.
It's good, because a lot of my ideas are still thought by the staff, so they'll see an opportunity to take a couple of photos of 9 hampers for a move-in day. We've got 9 people moving. They'll do it themselves now. Which
it's kind of empowering them to kind of
fantastic.
Take ownership of it. That content creation is really, really important. We'll kind of jump straight into that. It's something I was going to actually later on, but around that kind of utilising the technology and how social media has kind of, I suppose, in a way, maybe driven that. Like you mentioned, like the drone footage, the 360 tools, all those things that I know you as a company have kind of really led. I've lived in Worcester all my life and obviously been aware of yourselves, and you always seem to be the ones that have that technology at their disposal to display the properties and things. Do you want to say how the technology you have and how you're utilising it across social media?
So we've invested 2 years ago in a kit which is called Matterport. It's a really kind of high resolution 3D virtual tour kit. So the opportunity we saw is that a lot of people that want to buy a house need to get excited about it in the first place. Photography's fine. A lot of agents use professional photographers who do wide angle lenses. It kind of is it almost kind of missells what you're going out to view. So we thought an actual high res virtual tour is a great opportunity. The benefit to our vendors is probably they have the right people coming through the door. They've seen a tour they like, and therefore they're going to view it. But also you won't have the time wasters. The ones that don't like it aren't going to go. But actually the attractive part about using it on social media is that we've made little GIF files, so very short, almost like a doll. It's called a doll's house, a kind of a zoom in, quick couple of rooms and zoom out again, and it's just engaging. And then people, we embed the link then, so that if people actually want to go and do a tour of it, they'll click on that to go into it. So I employ someone who his specific role is taking on properties but using the Matterport tool for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny, actually, I'm now seeing more and more companies using it. Big developers are starting to use it. They're kind of cottoning on, and I think that's our thing. We always want to be kind of a bit innovative. We want to be one step ahead. Yeah. So so the videography and drone thing, I mean, that was brought in to help new build development, but actually there's a lot of our properties that are quite unique. Our homes of distinction, we call them, and we're using kind of videos to just engage someone for that 1 minute, just to grab their attention, click on it, fall in love with it, which is often the case, and then get in touch and come and view.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was speaking to someone recently about the whole kind of marketing funnel and kind of how you move people through it, and we were talking about how social media is kind of doing a bit more of, not the work for you, but they're further along that process before they make contact with you.
It's
and
fantastic.
I wonder if with that footage you can go in and view that doll's house thing, like you said. So you're not getting maybe as many kind of leads, but they're more credible leads.
They are, yeah, that's right. So it's almost kind of qualifying them for us because, as I said, people that have seen it at all that they like, they know they're going into something. They've already done the walk through. They know what room's next, and they fall in love with it for a reason.
Yeah.
But you've also got the ones that think, I really want my kitchen on the front, or I really want my kitchen on the back with the dining room to the side. It's not there. I can't make it work. So you are. So you might have reduced number of viewings, but quality viewings instead. I'm always looking for the next bit of kit. Prop tech is all I'm interested in. So I went over to Cannes for MIPIM, which is a massive, massive property expo out there. And my real intrigue and interest is to see what the next bit of technology is, because people are going to all start doing Matterport, which is fine, but we can do VR or not.
Yeah, as I was coming down to record this today with you, because this particular aspect was something I really wanted to talk to you about, and I was thinking, I wonder what like my guess would be, like what the next technology thing is, and I don't like AR or something like that. Where that was my guess of like.
It's funny.
Seems to be a way that
we were talking about it last night. I've actually got an AR channel. And back in 2014, I got approached by a company based in Droitwich who can do it to see if we could make my newspaper start to stand out. So you could actually do it in print. And so you'd have the thing on your phone and you hold it.
That would be
incredible. It is fantastic. I mean, our next steps are, we had a meal with some of the staff last night, and we were talking about 3D printers. Yeah. So actually printing off models of housing estates that we're going to be selling, and actually having a physical something. And from that, you could almost hold your phone over the top, put the AR channel up, and then bring it to life. I mean, we do CGI walkthroughs. We realise that it is visual now. I think that's the thing. It's not photos necessarily. It's more videos that are moving, keeping someone's interest. I must admit, I never used to really care, but now I really focus on those numbers, on like if it is getting engagement. We're talking about students knowing when to put their posts online. We focus on that as well. We do think about it, and actually. If we know one of our videos is bummed out, then we just realise we need to work better on it next time and do something different.
Yeah, you can really measure those things nowadays and track that to engagement. There's two things off that I wanted to check this. So one of them was about how it's kind of moved on from just photos. So in one of the other podcasts I recorded, I was speaking to Paul Napper at Spires Travel about the travel industry and social media, and he was saying like someone would traditionally look at a brochure, and nowadays they'll see like one photo of the hotel, outdoor, the pool and the room, and they'll ask for more photos, and it's a printed brochure, so you can't actually see any more, so you end up Googling it. Whereas, and I suppose in this that you used to see 3 or 4 photos possibly of the property, but now you can see so much more, can't you? So it's given them so much more upfront.
I think portals have driven that a lot as well. I mean, we don't advertise in the paper, so we're not in print anymore. We haven't been since November 2015, which I think, when you realise that a lot of your leads are going to come from some other source.
Yeah, was that obviously a conscious decision to step away, to
and it was a tricky one to make as well, because we knew all the other agents were going to use it against us for the time that we were doing it, and I sat down with my staff and said, it's a bold decision. If I'm wrong, we'll go back in. I've got no problem, but I knew there was money to be saved, and actually you can kind of see now that the paper's got thinner and thinner and thinner. Yeah. Not saying anything negative about it, but it turned out to be the right decision, and that's because we knew the trend was that people were going online, and we'd rather invest in people that can take good photos or Matterport kit rather than spending 40 odd grand a year on newspaper adverts. We were able to save money and invest it in other areas.
Yeah, obviously with what I do, I'm helping people with their paid ads on social media, and I do say to them, and I worry about almost like the traditional marketing, because you spend all that money, and other than putting a code or a unique phone number on the ad, you don't really know how many you see that. Compared to these ads, how many people have watched the video, how much of the video they watched, if they watched it on their phone or their laptop, or if they click the link, or it's incredible the amount of data, isn't it? So it's obviously something that could really help you with that. The other thing then was just to kind of go back almost to the start, and from where you were when you first started up 9 years ago to now, when we're talking about like 3D printers and these 3D, it's incredible, isn't it? The track of it. So when you first started out, it was just basic social media accounts.
It was basic.
There.
So now we're probably up to about 2,400 followers on Facebook, which is brilliant when it's actually when it's a focused audience. It's not targeted, none of it's born. None of it's it's naturally grown. But I remember fondly my old things that I used to do on Facebook when it was just me. When I'd sell a house, I used to put hashtag Kapow. That was my thing.
Yeah.
And then my friend would start, if they saw I'd done something well, they'd start putting. So it's kind of just little bits like that just kind of grew. But yeah, I mean, my old post back then, it was probably take a photo of my newspaper advert.
Yes.
Why am I doing that? No one wants to buy the paper. They're going to see that. So it's adapting with what's going on in front of you. And yeah, Matterport's brilliant today, but will it be as good in 2 years' time? I don't know. We need to think about what the next step's going to be. And I do think Facebook's one of those things that could actually, and they are talking about in our industry, in the property industry, that could even push something like Rightmove out of the way. Rightmove, because they've got the monopoly on everything, we spend a fortune with them.
Yeah.
We are talking mega bucks. So if Facebook can get to the point where people go to Facebook to find stock, as opposed to going to Rightmove will have to kind of change their tune.
Yes. I suppose if they just almost have a competitor, they'd be able to...
because at the moment you've got Rightmove's like 86% of searches, you've got Zoopla, and then, I mean, they are the one on their own, really. Yeah. But, Facebook's even more powerful for them, which is great for me. Although Facebook, I'm sure they'll put a charge on it for us somehow, but
I'm sure they will.
they'll get onto it. But at the moment, we try and make our regular kind of posts into our Facebook page, they want to be relevant. We will post our stock. We'll put our new instructions on there. We'll put our letting stock on there. Lettings, I think it's working really, really well. I think a lot of tenants are kind of, if they're in a tenancy, they've kind of always got that flexibility, obviously given a bit of notice, they can move. So a few of the things that we put online, they're getting tempted by. Yeah. Not really looking, but they've just seen something. Yeah. And I think the same will be said with some of our new instructions, some of the CGIs, virtual tours we're doing. People are thinking, I'm not looking, but they're always on Facebook. And they see something that makes them think, do you know what? What if we could actually make that step now and go for it? So,
I think that's the thing, because when I remember people and they'll say, it's like where your target audience was social media and it's not really for business and all those sort of things. So, well, people are on it a lot, and there's a lot of people on it a lot. And I don't think people realise how much they're on it sometimes when I speak to people, and they're there. And if you're kind of there, maybe not giving it the hard sell, but demonstrating that content that you've got.
We're very, very careful. We want to, and we're just with GDPR coming in, we're really quite focused on making sure that people want to still hear from us. And hopefully that comes through the way we do our social media, but also our mailers that we're sending out, it'll be the same. But we're really trying to make it just engaging. So it won't be about us. It very rarely will be about what we're doing. Yeah. It'll be more a case of this has just gone on. Yeah. We've just seen this happen. Those things that people want to. It's almost we can be their their news feed almost, and just give them the bits they need to know. Sort of thing. I mean, and we'll drop some properties in there because we sell them for vendors. That's our job at the end of the day. But it's nice to kind of keep it quite relevant, and we do have a lot of a lot of positive comments made about the social media that they just see us, and some of them their perception of the business and the size of the business is kind of edged on by our social media. I mean, we are a good company, we're a big company.
You've got a strong brand nowadays as well, haven't you?
Put an April Fool out on the 1st of April saying that we're opening 4 more offices. There was one in Pershore, one in Malvern, which we do plan to do, and then 2 further ones, one in Banbury and one in Coventry, were just random. And I've had all my suppliers getting in touch with me. They must be watching our Facebook as well as obviously trying to deal with it. But they all got in touch, and other competitors, they were all nervous, thinking,
does that mean you've got to
what's going on? No, I pulled it down. I pulled it down 4 hours after I'd posted it, because I thought if it goes onto Facebook the day after, and then the day after that, no one's going to realise it was in the morning of April the 1st. And people will think it's actually real. 3 days ago.
So you're kind of peddling your own fake news.
Yeah, exactly. It was amazing. And the reaction, I'm still hearing now. I'm still people are stopping me and saying, really good. I can't believe you can do 4 more offices. That's amazing. You're going to go mad. I was like, no. Think of the day it was on.
That's quite good that you can kind of chuck a stone into the water and see how far the ripples go. That shows how many people are watching you and the social media presence you've got. Taking a kind of wider step away from social media, just get your thoughts on how the property industry is with things like purple bricks, and you said like Rightmove and stuff, and how you feel that's, I don't know, put the pressure on you as a kind of more traditional estate agents in that sense?
It could have been seen. There's definitely a hole in the market for purple bricks and that like of the online agent, because there's some clients that feel that they can do it on their own, and that. I mean, they realise they're paying a very small amount, but they've got to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
What we've done instead is we've gone the other way, so we're adding loads more value in. So things like Matterport tours.
I think that's the interesting thing. You haven't gone to match them on the price. You're trying to go the other way.
No, I've had a number of valuations where I've been very honest with the client, and I've said in the short snapshot, I won't spend too much time if you think you can get everything you want for that price, because we've got overheads, we've got a lot more commitments. We really do charge an honest fee, and we deserve it and earn it. But we there's loads of different things that we had, and we reeled off 52. We did 52 tradables. We reeled off 52 things that we know that we do, not necessarily better, but that we do, and actually adds into the service that makes the client's life easier, whether it's achieving more than the asking price or whatever. But there'll always be a place for purple bricks, and I'm not scared of them, if I'm very honest with you, because I just think those people that want a full service agent, they'll have fewer choices, because I think a few agents unfortunately will struggle, but the ones that are still there, they'll be like the cream of the crop, really. Which
touch wood, I'm sure you will.
Sorry, that'll be allowed bang on your podcast.
I suppose because it's so interesting with all this, that how you've like embraced that technology and things. If you were starting it again today, like how you would embrace the social media like now as it is, you still feel you'd be doing the same sort of things? I suppose the question is, do you think it's almost easier in a way to start businesses today than it was almost 10 years ago because of social media?
Yes, I think from an exposure point of view, I think if you use it wisely and you do kind of have a clear goal and plan with it, I think social media gives you such a better reach from day one. I do think it's important to use it wisely, though. I think that's the thing. I think too many people have tried to go on there and talked about themselves too much. They've just put people off, because if your personality is not one that grows rapport, you can really wind a few people up. I think it just kind of gets you out there quicker. I mean, I was doing a flyer drop, but if I was setting up again now, I wouldn't have had my mates do my flyers for me. I would have done a focused post that actually went to everyone, and that would have been probably as successful without having to buy beers for my mates as well. And I do think, I remember day one when me, my mum and my dad following my Facebook page and my wife. But I've got some sympathy likes. There's nothing wrong with those. Yeah, that's it. Can you share this post for me? Because I want people to just know I'm around. I've had friends who have gone off to set up on their own, and they've in the market now trying to be estate agents. They've got a tough market to start up in, but they've done really well from their social media point of view, and it just needs to translate into what they're after, which is obviously... I suppose it comes back to kind of what we said earlier about that you can be flexible with it, and compared to those bigger companies, you are able to be not just the 9-to-5 estate agents, you're kind of round the clock on that personality. I think it's hard for a big company to do well on social media. In my industry, I follow a lot of the locals, which are kind of bigger corporates as well, and nationals, and I just don't think Facebook is for them, really. If I'm really honest, I think it is for the independents, because it's only about our personality. You don't need that kind of corporate thing thrown down your throat. And I could reel them off. There's a lot of big agents out there that turn over a lot more money than me, but actually, if you look at their social media posts and who they've got following them, they've got a fraction of what we're doing. Yeah. And those will be like 600 people probably that have put complaints on or whatever. It's not necessarily a nice group. Yeah. Some of the stuff that we do, and these are the kind of the measures of success for us. Yeah. It's the amount of kind of reshares that we get and that kind of thing. It's people promoting our story, whether it's about us or whether it's about something going on in the community. You can only get that engagement when you've got a nice group of people that actually are interested in what you're doing. Yeah, like it's true engagement. Yeah, it's proper. It is brilliant, and you can't buy it. Yeah. It's organic. Most of it. It's once you start doing some content that people are interested in seeing, they'll follow you. Yeah. And I've had people coming in saying they've followed me for 4 years. The first thing they ever saw me do was we did a Christmas card competition. Kids were designing Christmas cards. And they followed me from then. It was literally this week they came in and said this. They followed me from then, and they've never had a need to stop following us. It's never got too much. It's never been too much about property or anything like that. It's always been quite, and that's that's cool. That must be really proud, because that is made that conscious effort to be that style when someone comes and tells about. So I found that. So within the charity sector, when I founded the charity in memory of my sister, which Nicol and Co have supported in the past, we. I likened it. I used to say that it was social media was leveling the playing field for one
us compared to some of the bigger charities, but also it was born on social media. It was interesting you said about the big companies, because I was already on Facebook and Twitter and all those other ones before we did it, and as you were already on Facebook before you did Nicol & Co. So you could kind of build it on that social media bedrock, whereas a lot of the bigger charities that I saw, I think they're still trying to like almost bend their way into them to feel like how you manage this thing, because it's become such a fluid communication between you and the customer. It's like a very one-to-one thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose that's what you're saying about those bigger businesses. They just haven't got the infrastructure.
I don't know if you remember.
Deal with it.
I don't know if you remember, but there was an arson attack on the Lido Park.
Yes.
Back in 2014.
Yes.
And that grew like wildfire. Pardon the pun, but I was going to training. You don't think I train, but I was going to training early in the morning. I saw someone's post on Facebook, and I kind of reshared it, whatever, on the Nicol & Co. page, and said, "We've got to do something about this."
And that was where your crowdfunding came.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and that is kind of using social media, and the community engagement was just phenomenal. But it was so easy to do through Facebook.
Yeah.
You had Hursty and Helen from then Free Radio, probably Wyvern FM back then, but Free Radio as we know it now. They wanted to do an interview that morning because one of my friends had seen it. She said, "I've got in touch with them for you. I want you to speak to them about it." I was like, "What? I've only just posted. We should do something." It's all just, but that engagement there was phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the amount of money we raised was over 16 grand, and
it's incredible.
It's like everyone was dipping their hand in their pocket. People down in London, because they used the Lido once or twice. It's like just fab. But that's talking about kind of charities. I think if it's a cause that people can believe in, and it's something they can kind of sympathise towards, or think, do you know what, I'm annoyed about that as well, then social media is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, because I'm a big advocate of social media with the work that I do, and it does have its dark corners, and obviously there's been a lot in the press, particularly around the data protection stuff with Facebook recently, but I still think these are quite wonderful platforms where you can do some great things. So you can see just almost like a small problem like that was in the local community, put it on social media, and it kind of rallies this online army, doesn't it, to do something about it. It just connects it. I think it's
we had to keep an eye on some of the comments, because some of them were becoming a bit derogatory towards the children that had done the thing, and people were frustrated, and we didn't want it to kind of turn into a kind of a grab your pitchforks, let's go out. It wasn't that. It was just right, it's happened, let's crack on and get it sorted, and that came through, to be fair, and it still gets talked about today, actually. And I do owe a lot to Facebook, because there's no way I could have got that message out personally. I wouldn't have been putting it in the paper or anything like that. I just was frustrated in the morning, someone saw it, and bosh, everyone started sharing it, and madness.
The final thing I just wanted to pick up on again that you mentioned about that, almost like the commitment to the content almost that you're creating. So you said you employ somebody now that is responsible for creating, getting that footage and things. Just tell us a bit about the kind of reasons for that, because a lot of what I talk to people about with their social media is don't underestimate how demanding these platforms are with the content. And so I think it's kind of almost really refreshing to see a business like yourselves that are maybe diverting their money from traditional advertising, I suppose, into no, we are going to create our own content here, because this is where the value is. Just tell us a bit more about that process.
In all honesty, we're still a small business. I'm really pleased with what we're doing, but we're not massive with massive marketing budgets or anything like that. But we see the direct benefit in resourcing it properly. We've got I've got another company, in-house design and marketing, which is all about the CGIs, the videos, the drones, the virtual tours, and it was a conscious decision that actually, if we do want to be one step ahead of the curve, if we do want to beat the likes of Purple Bricks that will do it for peanuts, we need to give someone a bit more, and that's kind of where it came through. So we employ 2 people who constantly are out either doing the tours, or they're putting together some really nifty videos. I love them. I get excited every time I get a text through from Jacko, because it's like the first cut. I'm allowed to see it and approve it.
Like editor's edition.
Oh, it's amazing. I've got so many that I have to keep storing them, saving them. I was showing some of the staff last night. I've just showed some of the guys upstairs one of the ones we've got coming out soon. It's just brilliant. I kind of get goosebumps seeing it. The reason we do it is probably that we don't want to be just like any other estate agent. We realise it's cost money to do it, but actually it'll pay back in the long run, because more people want to use our business if we run good media channels. you're right. I mean, people spend more time looking on Facebook than they do reading the news, than they don't look in the papers. They see our boards, they drive around, but we're kind of always there. We're just in the background. We're not, look at us, look at us.
It's a nice way of putting it, actually, because I live in the area, and I would describe that, actually. You kind of, there's the sign, there's the sign.
That's
it's not rammed down my throat.
No, but we try and be quite careful about it, and we want our posts of properties to go out there, but we don't want it to be, here's another property, here's another property, here's another property. It needs to be something that people want to see.
Yeah.
And that could be nothing to do with us. When it comes to advertising now and sponsorship, we think we've got a position in the market where people recognise our logo, so we don't need to put our email addresses on anymore, or our web addresses on, because we feel like, probably because we've just become one of those background noises that people know of, it's fine just to pop a logo.
Yeah, and so, I would say, like, because your colours as well are quite distinctive, aren't they?
They are.
So that thing always kind of stands out compared to the others. Yeah, I do notice that. This has been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I really do appreciate it, and it's fascinating to see that almost that commitment to the content that you are putting into that, and how you've used social media to kind of drive that forward. But thank you very much.
Cheers, Rich.